Hello. So I think you guys heard me say I'm an actress. I started out acting in high school in plays, and then I left that and I was like, I don't know. I miss acting. I miss it so much. But I went into television and film in a different way. I was on the news. I reported entertainment reporting, and I worked with celebrities, which was so cool. I got to meet like some really fabulous celebrities. I would interview them about their movies, and I was standing there talking to. Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna drop a name. Let me pick it up. Here it is. I was talking to Jennifer Lopez one day, and I realized that I'm just a shadow of what I wanted to be. I'm an artist that's talking to people doing what I dreamed in my heart of doing, but I didn't know where to start or how to start. I didn't have any help. I grew up in Medford, Oregon, and there was no acting classes. There was no hope of going on and being an actor. And so I had been living in Portland while I was doing that. And during that time, I just realized I need to take acting classes. Like I need to find out, just like you guys are doing. I'm like, I need some answers. I need to know where and how and what. And that was, 22 plus years ago. So I'm really glad that wherever you're at, that you're interested and you're starting, because for me, the most important things with kids aren't that you guys rush out and get agents and become stars or dive into Disney and Nickelodeon, but it's that you truly would have art in your heart and in your life for the rest of your life. Like I wish for you a life as an artist. And that's one thing I can say about myself is wherever you are, whatever age you're at right now, I dreamt of being an actor and I grew up to be an actor. So as I'm looking back now, I have committed to a lifetime of art. And that's a really beautiful thing if you're an artist, is just committing your life constantly to the belief and hope that you can stay working as an artist. So I just congratulate everybody and all the moms too. So this whole class today or seminar or whatever you want to call it, chit chat, is really about how do I get an agent? Because we hear that all the time. That's probably the number one thing that we hear. We hear it from actors who've been training at our studio for a while, and we hear it from actors who've never done anything ever a day in their life. And they're like, don't I need an agent to be an actor? How do I get an agent? Well, I'm going to try to answer around that a little bit just to start with. And what I'm going to start by telling you is you do not need an agent to work as an actor. You should try to work as an actor before you get an agent. And those are good things because you'll get to know the business a little bit. You'll get to kind of learn about what you're doing before you ever get signed into an agency. And an agent, for those of you that are still kind of confused, is somebody who helps you get work. So an agent can get you work. An agent can, let me rephrase that. An agent can get you auditions. You have to get yourself work. Okay, so how do you do that if you've never done it a day in your life? Well, this is one of the ways you start. You start by training, you start by being online, you start by immersing yourself with everything that you can to figure out how to do acting. And I promise you that the more that you just ask questions and do research, the more you're going to learn and the easier it's going to be to walk through that next door. The hard part is once you walk through that next door, can you stay? Can you stick around when you know that you've got a lot of work to do or a lot to learn or a lot of rules to follow or you got to get headshots, all these things, and you start to kind of make yourself a little bit crazy. But all I ever ask my students is to slow down, to take a minute and recognize that wherever you're at right now is where you're supposed to be, and you're not supposed to be any better than you are right at this very minute. You are only you right at this very minute. And oftentimes just you at this minute can get booked. So obviously, like I believe in the training. I mean, I'm not here to plug my acting program. I'm here to plug training. So whatever you decide to do for yourself, you need to know how to do it, right? You need to know how to work with camera, how to develop a character, how to have on-set etiquette. But you don't need all that just to be in some smaller things that people understand there's new actors. So that's why I say you can get yourself some work. And then the other thing that if you're looking to do this, this is again, before getting an agent, right? Is you're going to want to get on Casting Frontier and create a profile for yourself. I recommend the free profile. It's what I have too. You don't need a bunch of fancy stuff, but if you want to pay to have more, it's a legitimate site. It's where a lot of people go to cast. Okay. Um, so, you want to start small. You want to start small. And sometimes that can also be making your own work. So creating your own content is one of the best things that you can do, because everyone's like, well, how can I get an agent? Well, my blanket answer is you can apply. You can go to an agent's website and apply. You can submit your kid and their pictures and apply. But that doesn't necessarily get you in the door. And if that gets you in the door, that doesn't necessarily keep you in the door, because the truth is you need to know what you're doing, right? And you think about it, like let's say you wanted to start playing soccer. Nobody in their wildest dreams would ever imagine that you would make an elite soccer team having never played soccer before, or having never like really been on a team, right? Maybe you only ever played it really in your backyard. So you want to imagine, I like to equate acting classes and acting endeavors to sports, because we do have a lot of like understanding for how that works with sports. But I feel like a few people get discovered, and then a lot of actors feel like, well, I will be discovered, and everybody, and let me stop myself right now. I myself thought I would be discovered 22 years ago when I went to my first acting class. I really thought she was going to be like, we have been waiting for you. Where have you been our whole lives? That is not what she said or thought. And I left there so deflated. I was like, I'm the worst actor that ever lived. Maybe that was true. Maybe that was not. But there was a small voice inside of my head that said, but I want to know more. So it's okay if you've never done acting before. It's okay. It's okay. So anyway, you should start small, create your own work. You can get onto agents' websites. So maybe you're one of the very tiniest number of people in the whole wide world that gets discovered, and you magically become a star. Having said that, I hope none of you have that experience, because I don't wish that for you. I wish that you would understand hard work, that you would understand art, that you would understand kindness. I wish for you that you go to prom. I wish for you that you have boyfriends, girlfriends, get your heart broken, travel a little bit, learn the world, get some experience under your belt, and bring all of that to your art. Because some of that is some of that fame and everything else is, as you soon discover, getting involved with it is not the chase. The chase is for the work. I do caution against blindly submitting to them without having any work. And then people are like, well, then how do I get work if I don't have an agent? And they kind of feel like they're chasing their tail, right? You can get on Casting Frontier and look for jobs for yourself with a parent, because always be cautious. And you can start creating your own content, which is maybe even a better way. So with all of that, let's assume that you're like, I'm starting to kind of try some new things out. I'm doing a little bit of acting. You have a little bit of footage, a little bit of experience for yourself. What do you do now? What do you think your agent is going to do now? I mean, to get an agent, I think it's important to get some really nice pictures taken, some headshots taken. I'm going to give you two answers to that. Don't spend a lot of money on headshots. Please don't spend a lot of money on headshots. Don't go book the $500-700 session that they make you look like a model, unless you have that kind of money and you think it would be fun. But when I started my own daughter out, I was a working actor. I was flying back and forth to LA and New York, and I took her headshot on my iPhone. That is what I did. And that is what I used quite a while. And then when she eventually applied herself to get an agent, she had that photo, and she did get an agent. And my deal with her was, you need to be in an acting class. If you have an agent, you need to be training and working towards, the jobs that you're going to get. For the moms that are on whose kids are 18 and under, when your kiddo works, that means you're on set with them, and it's not very much fun. So you really need to figure out if that's something that you want for your family and your lifestyle. Like you need to be able to, if your kid gets on the TV series Everything Sucks, like some of my students did, and they're under 18, you as a parent are going to be on that set every single day. So if that's something that you're okay with, that's great. The other thing I get a lot is, when should I move to LA? My answer is, once you get your Screen Actors Guild card and you are in, like, say, like you're living in Portland, Oregon, and you get your SAG card. That means you've worked a couple of SAG professional jobs. That's what a Screen Actors Guild card is. You don't need to worry about it right now. That's a good time that you're like, I've got my SAG card. I've worked a couple of professional television film shows. And now it's a good time to go to LA, right? Like, then that's when you want to get into that mindset. So a lot of parents get really worried if I get my kid into it, or maybe your parents are worried about you getting into it. What you need to know is that Portland is a great market to start in, and even an agent isn't going to suddenly inundate you. You're not suddenly going to have all these auditions and be like, how am I going to handle being so famous? So the other thing I wanted to talk about today is how to get an agent. Like, hang on a second. Precious coffee. I love it. You know, a lot of you use Instagram, right? A lot of you, or maybe your parents use Instagram, but making sure that you kind of tag people that are on our list, tag the agencies, follow the agencies that you want to be part of. You guys, it's not embarrassing to tag people. It happens all the time. You can tag them. They probably will go look. They will probably go look at your, you know, modeling shot or short film you made or series that you made. So feel free to tag them. Okay. That would be something that on Instagram that you could kind of help create for yourself is you can create, you navigate your own page, your own Instagram page to be the page of an actor. That can be kind of hard. Some people feel bad about that because they're like, well, my friends, they'll be embarrassing. And I understand that. So I always recommend to have two. Have a private one that's for you and your friends and your family and grandma and grandpa. And then if your parent says it's okay, have a public professional page. And, you know, I do career consults all the time to talk with kids on how to curate that and how to develop it and make it and shoot it and the whole thing. But it doesn't need expensive anything. You can just do it yourselves. You can find actors that you love and adore, and they likely have publicists, and you can go onto their Instagrams and be like, oh, well, they shot an image kind of like this or this. I think I could kind of do something like that, just as a way to get the ball rolling. All right, somebody said, if you have an agent, are you still able to book auditions yourself without their help? Great questions. Yes, you can. I book a lot of my own work. Would you say your agency on the slate if you found the audition yourself? If you find the audition yourself, so somebody knows about slates. I think that person's training down at my studio, so I'm very impressed. When you get an audition, you do something called a slate. And you could just skip that part. And if you wanted your agent to negotiate that contract, you could say your agent's name. But if it was a really big contract, like maybe Paramount Pictures is doing a big audition search, I would put my agent down for sure, because you would want somebody to negotiate. Okay. So YouTube is another great way, you guys. If you have YouTube, it's another great way to get yourself out there, make videos or promote yourself, make little clips. Even if it's all you have is a play or a small skit you did at church or in a classroom, that's okay. Just, you know, like I said, you're only as good as you are in that right now at this very moment. And there are professional people who want to help you grow, who want to help you develop, who want you to have a life in art like we did. You know, our studio is always a resource to you. You can pop us an email. We are very much about community support. We love to answer and help you guys out and get back to you. But you should be creating your own content. And listen, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I also have to create my own content. You know, when I was an actor and I wanted to be a lead actor and I wasn't getting a lot of those bigger opportunities for a film, I made my own film. I created a production company, I raised money, and I was a lead in a film. That position went on to earn me an opportunity to be nominated for Women in Comedy with Sarah Jessica Parker, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig. It got me on an Oscar watch list. So sometimes you can do things that you just are like, I don't know, I'm just doing it. I don't know what I'm doing. And it works. You know, I also just made a short film that I wrote. And I'm like, I don't know who's going to give me a chance as a writer. So I'll give myself a chance. So do for yourself, create your own content. There is no excuse. There is zero, because y'all have phones, y'all have friends, y'all are so creative, and probably have way more amazing stories than I could even dream up in my mind. Your generation is powerful. Your generation is empowered. Your generation just has creativity. I feel like just oozing everywhere. It's really exciting to be around all of you. So there's no excuse to not go make your own content, no matter the age, no matter what age you're at. It just takes doing it and focusing and finishing. I will say this. Some of the best opportunities in my career have happened because of my professionalism and my kindness and my willing to help other people. So that is just as important, you guys, as your personal dream and your endeavors to become, famous or on a show or whatever it is. Acting is really, really hard work. You show up really early. Sometimes you're asleep on set. Sometimes you have to do schooling on set. It's long, lazy hours and sometimes really crappy food that's not very good. Not all my sets. I usually have some good stuff, but needless to say, it's not super glamorous. The glamorous part is walking that red carpet or having friends and family see you in something and being so proud of you. The rest of it is just really, it's just dedicated hard work. Do agents cost money? So no, they don't. You don't need to pay an agent until you work. Isn't that great? If you're a SAG actor like me, the Screen Actors Guild contracted actor, I pay my agent 10%. If you're non-union, you're not part of the union, you're going to pay 15 to 20%. Sometimes it can depend on modeling. It can depend on what field you're working in. Are you in a commercial? Are you television, film? But you should never pay more than that. And that's after you get a check. So you get your $500, you then write your agent a check, or your agent gets it and takes their take out of it. So if somebody comes to you and says they want to represent you, but they need money, the only reason they should ask you for money is if it's a minimal fee to go towards their website fees to put you up on the website. Okay. You should not have people that want a bunch of money or that are like, if you go, to New York or LA and this fancy showcase, pay us $5,000 and all these great people come, then you'll be discovered. And look at all the people that have been discovered. And you got to be really careful about those things. I wrote in and said, you have to make appointments with agents. No, you don't. Agents rarely make appointments. And if they do, they'll make it with you. Actors are always like, well, what if it's not my schedule? I'm like, you can usually, if an agent wants to see you and meet you, they will ask you like, hey, what days are good? You can always say that day doesn't work for me. They're not going to be like, well, forget it then. No, if they're interested, they're probably very sweet and kind. And they're probably going to say, great, well, we'll meet up, Wednesday or Thursday or Friday of next week. What day works for you? Be available and have all the things that they would want. For the moms that are on, most of the time, the agents are interviewing you, not your kid. So if you're there with your kiddo, they're actually interviewing you. And I get the most calls, not about, hey, is this actor good? Are they sweet? But they're like, first thing they say, how's the parent? And there have been some times where I have had to say some real hard truths. I'm not a big super supporter of the stage mom mentality. I am a supporter of looking out for your kiddo and all of us having wonderful creative experiences together, all of us doing our best. But you need to go on family vacations, you guys. You need to go, like I said, to prom or whatever. This is important. This is important to do really good work. So just know that, mamas, that they're probably also interviewing you. But really, it's just a gut feeling that you might get. You should check their social media. How do they talk about other kids? What kind of representation do they have, as for their brand? Have they been quick and informative? Have they been kind and caring? Have you asked them what their policies are? Like, what do we do if we're on family vacations? Or, you can ask questions for yourself as well. Because it's just as important that you feel comfortable. But at the end of the day, if it's just, apples to apples, it just is a gut feeling on who you feel like you want to work with, because you are going into business with that person. Who do you want to pick up the phone and talk to? Who do you feel like is a worker like that? I mean, it's not a bad thing if they've been busy. That's not a bad thing. If they, it's just, It's just, you want to feel that they are also not too busy to answer your questions, and they shouldn't make you feel small. You don't want to feel that way with business partners. So just imagine you're opening up your own, smoothie shop, and you're interviewing business partners. Who do you want to show up with to work in that shop? So that's kind of a great way to approach that. So I also guide parents and teens and kids. This is for you as well, that when your parent is doing that work, you should pay them a percentage as if they're a manager. So typically I say, give your agent their fee. And then if your parent is the one that's managing you, running you, driving you, paying for classes, paying for headshots, you would pay the parent like about 10%. But mom, if your kiddos start getting booked, then they should be paying for their own headshots, and they should be paying for their own acting classes. This is not, parents will say, well, I want that money to go for college, and that's okay. Every family is different, but also don't be shy if you reimburse your kid. It's a business. And I know everybody thinks it's like, but it's still, my kid's so cute. It's no. It's contracts. It's a business. It's workload. It's call times. It's a lot. And so it doesn't come really fast. Don't worry. You can ease into it. You can learn along the way. Sometimes it can just be a really fun thing for you. My daughter and I just used to have fun together. We did it together, but don't be shy about, paying yourself a little something to manage it. Some parents that, that I've had have had to move down to LA with their kid and give up their careers and split their families. And I'm like, oh, you definitely should be getting paid. So as it comes down to that further, you can certainly reach out, and we can give you some supportive material to help you kind of navigate that as well. But for right now, like, don't think that's going to just explode all of a sudden. I mean, it may out of somewhere happen, but it's more likely that you're just going to kind of get the ball rolling. And I don't wish that for your kiddo. I wish for you guys to have fun together, to go to shoots together when it's easy and convenient for you and for your family, and to let them have that really exciting experience. And then I really do hope that when the day comes that they say, any of you say, I don't want to do this anymore, that you take a break and do something else and try something else. But just know, if you are the artist, then you need to be doing something for your art, whatever it is, whether it's writing or painting or dancing or singing or making music. Like, do something for your art, because I believe when you're not doing something for your art, you will replace it with things that are not, that are toxic and not good for you, because your artist is inside trying to get out. It's like, and it kind of self-combusts inside. If you're a creator, you need to be creating, and it doesn't matter how good it is. It just matters that you're doing it. But I taught an educational series where it's all online. So you can watch all the videos kind of from the privacy of your own home, and get a lot of acting techniques and tips, and learn how to do what we do. If you want me to personally teach you, it's a year's worth of teaching condensed into some videos, and it's really nice. It slows down, and there's some videos as well for parents in the business of acting. And then the one big one, like, how am I ever going to cry on camera? I have a whole segment on that. So it's a really fun one. But please do follow us, you guys, on social media. We love to post on there. We post audition opportunities or workshop opportunities, and tag us. We love to see what you're doing. We will repost you. Yeah, I do. I sit down with each actor individually, and I say, what are your dreams? What are your goals? We write that down. We go through everything. I work on resume. I work on like how to get where you want to go. I love doing career consults. I love sitting down with people. I'm that way when I want to go leap into another field. I sit down and meet with people, or I pay for their time, and I'm like, hey, how do I get to where I want to go? And it's and then it's just always up to me to put these things in action, which is actually why I made a short film, because I want to direct television, film, episodic, and I paid for somebody's time, and they were like, well, you need to do a short film. And now 6 months later, here it is. I'm like, okay, did it. Awesome. Like I'm one of those people too that likes to know the stepping stones,
Yes, exactly. Well, I have appreciated your time. This has been invaluable. Thank you so much for sharing.
So welcome. I'm so proud to be here with you all. It's just a true pleasure for me.